Hey everybody, welcome back to the 6th round post-fight show with me, Zane Simon, and my co-hosts, as always, Eddie Mercado.
Hey!
Okay,
It's better than the shocker.
You're right. You've upgraded your intro, and you are making me really think that I should actually not ask you to do intros of any sort.
Yeah, that was a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
You should have polled the audience or something.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. We're here once again following this week's UFC card going down at the Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada. A really decently put together fight night that ended up being a pretty decent fight night.
Sure.
Marred horribly, I'm going to say this straight at the top, by the worst booth that the UFC can possibly put together. Excepting, I just remembered, I wrote a whole little editorial about this for my Substack subscribers because that was the first thing that hit me like a wave. Getting Dominic Cruz and Michael Bisping in the same room together, just fucking terrible. But I did remember at the last minute that sometimes they've put Dominic Cruz and Joe Rogan on commentary together, which is literally, honestly, and truly the worst thing known to man.
Mm-hmm.
But second to that is this.
At least they weren't arguing. They were definitely sucking each other's dick a lot more tonight.
There were little low-level arguments about, like, what's Japanese jiu-jitsu, what's Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
I think that was just Bisping realizing he was just saying something silly. Something obvious. Which, it wasn't like a real argument.
Yeah, no real fights this time, but just so much bullshit, because Bisping he's an energy matcher. He's the kind of guy. DC is the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them, you put them in them with like Felder or Sanko, they're solid. They'll come up. They'll be, they'll talk technique. They'll stay pretty on topic. They'll call the fights, all that good shit. You put them in with Rogan, they'll both go full podcasting mode and just ramble about whatever bullshit. You put them in there with Dominic Cruz, the energy vampire, the dude who just gathers all the life in the room and sucks it in and takes it. And they will just get into his little bickering, circular logic, random factoid latching bullshit thing that he does. And it just, oh my God, sucks the fucking life out of me listening to those two call fights together. So
but tonight I think was not as bad as some nights. It's not as
maybe
bad as it could be.
But they did make an entirely fun and enjoyable fight card that much less fun and enjoyable just by being there.
I think that's fair. That's fair.
You know.
But you gotta also understand, it's the weekend before Noche. So
yeah, you get the B team out there.
C team. It's more like the C team.
C team. Yeah. No, you're right. You give me Felder, Sanko, Anik. That should be the A team, but our A team is going to be Rogan and DC because, and I hate myself for saying this already, and I hate myself anyway. So it's got to be.
Why do you hate yourself?
No, it's a joke. I'm being.
Don't pump that negativity out there, Zane. We all know you love yourself more than anybody else.
It's true. Nightly. But
that's my next gesture. That's my next gesture.
There you go.
I'm writing it down.
But DC and Rogan at least have a sort of charisma that they put out when they're calling fights. I mean, I can't stand Rogan, but he's likable enough to get 1 billion people to listen to him 5 days a week.
Yeah, he's legit.
He still gets excited when exciting things happen. Dominic Cruz can watch somebody get knocked out and be like, "Oh well, I wouldn't have moved like that." And you're like, "Man, fuck,
But like that damn Keith Peterson did it again. Yeah. He got somebody else.
Yeah, yeah. And you're just like, man, we just watched a cool KO. I don't want to hear about your personal gripes, man. I don't.
That's definitely fair.
Yeah.
But no, anyway. This was a pretty reasonably fun fight card.
This was a reasonably fun fight card. A lot of people are feeling it. We've got some we've got some people in the audience here, I think, reflecting a broad feeling that it's like, man, we all like Gilbert Burns. It sucks to see him kind of, on the outs.
Get old.
Get old. Yeah. But
older Burns, I picked Gilbert Burns here.
Oh, man.
This is the year of the old head.
Yeah.
Hold on. And Brady never beat anybody that told me he can beat a Gilbert Burns.
No, it's true. It's true.
But he's giving me like a Jake Paul vibe. You know what I mean?
Burns?
No, Brady. Like, why is he starting to fight these old heads?
I mean, Brady for me is giving me Colby 2.0 now.
That bad?
Well, it's all volume, low power, some wrestling, but there's not really like great control or great grappling that was in there for this. I mean, it's Gilbert Burns. I'll give him a break on that.
Yeah, whoa. There was great grappling going on here, Zane.
He is a good grappler.
Just against another great grappler. And I'll go a step further and say that Brady is so great at grappling that like his safety net when he's exhausted against Gilbert Burns is to grapple.
No, and I thought that honestly going into this is why I'm not feeling too down on this fight. I picked Brady, and the big thing I picked with Brady is he needs to wrestle Burns and stay on him and keep him going because A, he is a good enough grappler to hang, and he did, and B, that's what's really going to make Gilbert tired. The striking can suck.
Well, aside from the age.
But that's what I mean, is that at his age, we've got somebody in the audience here say, but I'm 38. I'm sorry, dude.
I'm 38.
Eddie's 38. I'm 40.
Before the show, Zane and I were discussing cell phones, and I was talking about how I owned a Nokia, like the old school Indestructo phones.
Well, hey, I did not have a cell phone of my own. I had a home phone.
Oh, a landline.
Until I was 28.
Really?
Yeah.
For real?
For real.
Oh, wow. You are old.
I am old. I am fucking old.
Weren't you in Alaska or something? I don't think they had cell phones in Alaska.
We did, but you had to make them out of wood.
Right.
In
a
rocks.
Potato.
Yeah. I had to carve that shit out of like a deer antler. People don't know, but that's how it was.
Fight a bear for it or something.
Yeah. You ever fight a bear for a fucking Nokia? No.
You haven't lived.
That's right.
You have.
Anyway.
It sucks to see Burns get old.
It sucks to see him get old. But I will say, this was a good fight for Brady because he went out there and he did a lot of striking, and he hit that wall that he always hits in the third round. He almost lost the third round of this fight. One judge and many viewers, many people scoring the fight at home, thought he did lose the third round. It's a thing Brady has. If he strikes too much, he kind of runs out of ideas. He realizes he hates it, and it's just like a mental block falls. He starts getting clipped up.
Well, it's not his bread and butter.
It's not his bread and butter.
But I will say he's looked more comfy tonight on his feet than he ever has.
He did, and honestly, I think a big part of why is the dick kicks. Honestly, they really helped him out because it was a distraction that let him reset. He was doing bad in round 3. He was getting clipped up. All the heavy shots were coming from Burns.
Mm-hmm.
They kicked each other in the dick to start round 4. It gave him like a couple more minutes to reset. He came out of that on his jab, working in volume, looking confident, looking like he got it back. like that's good for him. This is a good fight for Sean Brady. He went out there, he went 5 rounds, he poured a ton of volume in, and it was a good performance from him. I think Burns is definitely, he's hitting his old man, harder to pull the trigger, harder to stop somebody from building momentum on you kind of thing. But Brady, you picked against Brady. Brady needed this proving point. This is still a fight he needed to win.
Yep. And I was super wrong on that. But I'm fine with my pick. I'm glad I picked Burns. But they're just at different stages now. This is like a changing of the guard kind of moment. Even Burns was saying it. He was like, if I don't win this, the title hopes are done.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. And I mean, I guess Brady has title hopes, but...
I mean, you can't be hitting that 3rd round wall that he hit in this fight against somebody like Shavkat. And honestly, you can't hit it against...
Bilal either.
Bilal. I even off this performance, I still think Bilal might beat Sean Brady every single time they fight.
I picked him the first time. People thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
Bilal.
I probably thought you were crazy.
Well, I am. But Brady, he just doesn't have that dog in him. Like, he overcame a lot of adversity and showed a lot of heart tonight, and I commend him for that.
Yeah.
And I needed to see that, like you were saying. But, like, that dog just isn't in there. Like, it's just not.
No. When he starts getting hurt, when he starts getting hit, you can see that he doesn't like the fight. It's suddenly like, oh man, this sucks. I'm having to fight through this and figure it out. Where a guy like Bilal, hate to say it, the champ, he starts getting hit, he starts getting hurt. He just fights back harder. Like that to him is just like, oh yeah, this is part of what's going on. Yeah. I will come back in and pour it on. But I do like the call out. I mean, I might hate the fight actually, but I do like the call out after the fight of Ian Gary.
I love the fight. I think it's weird, right? It's a weird fight. But, like, if they got beef, if they got some animosity, fuck yeah. Because it's hard enough for me to get up for a Sean Brady fight. So, if there's some drama, okay, let's see what happens.
I am fascinated because it is, like I say, I think Brady's right now, he's out. This fight was very much a Colby Covington 2.0 kind of performance.
Honestly, worse. I've never seen Colby gas.
Yeah.
Colby was never the gasser. Like, that was never his thing. Like, he looked old. He's looked old lately, Colby. Right?
Yeah.
But, like, he was a cardio machine. He was so tenacious.
It does Brady have that dog in him thing when you hear about him doing, like, 60-mile bike rides and, like, ultra marathons and stuff like that. And you're like...
That's not dog stuff, though.
No, I know.
No. You can coast. You don't have to fucking dog through that. Like, I'm not saying it's not hard and not challenging. It's just a different kind of beast that it takes to do that kind of stuff. That honestly, that kind of those, endurance, that's more mental than anything else. It's can you suffer? Can you find the smallest amount of comfort in all that discomfort? And there's a lot of tremendous benefits from it, but it has nothing to do with being a dog.
Being a person who has always eschewed cardio, I will just pretend to know.
Yeah. He just.
But it's a good fight for Brady. It puts him in that top 5 conversation. I like the Ian Gary matchup. Like I say though, I don't know that like if Brady goes out and puts a pace on Gary and wrestles him a bunch, hey, maybe that's a fight that Brady wins. I don't know that I want to see that fight. And if Ian Gary goes out there and just like
kicks him in the head,
kicks him around and like makes Brady feel like he doesn't have that dog in him, I don't know that either of those fights are actually a fight I want to see, but I do want to see the outcome.
Yeah, that's fair. That could be a stinker.
Yeah, it could be a stinker. I don't know. I'm happy enough with the call out. It makes sense. They have the same manager, so neither guy can claim like, oh well, I didn't hear about it, or my camp turned it down, or like whatever. No. You guys both heard about this. It's going straight through the same dude. If you don't want, if one of you doesn't want this fight, we're all gonna know who didn't want this fight.
Yeah, because Ian can't pull the rankings card after this. So he might have backed himself into a corner with that.
Yeah. And
I'd say
then
book it.
Yep. Book it. Have Bilal fight Shavkat because he doesn't want to fight Kamaru Usman, which I actually understand. I don't want to see Bilal Usman at all.
Sure.
Do Bilal Shavkat, and then, Brady can fight Gary, and the winner can get sacrificed to Shavkat. And I'm totally happy about all of this.
Exactly. I'm glad you said it that way, Zane.
Yeah.
I was going to correct you. Had you, if you said anything about the winner, blah, blah, blah.
No. Shavkat is my next king. I've already prepared the little altar. I'm already lighting the votive candles.
Nice.
I'm ready.
I'm glad you said that because I have a favorite fighter again. Vitor Belfort used to be my favorite fighter. He's who got me into MMA to begin with. But he's that's so long ago. But now I have a new favorite fighter for the first time in a long time. Like it's hard to have a favorite fighter when you're just in it like we are.
Yeah.
Man, Steve Garcia is my favorite fighter. He's my favorite fighter.
You know what?
There's nobody I want to see fight more than him.
You right on, Steve Garcia. He's a shitload of fun in the cage. Also, though, man, be careful having your favorite fighter be a dude who lives in Idaho and is BFFs with Charlie Kirk. That man needs like a hard drive examined ASAP because there might just be like some militia content on there where he's getting ready to take over a local government office.
Not my business. Not my problem. I don't know nothing about that. I just know he's a dog.
He is a dog. Absolutely.
Dog.
All right. Let's talk about the co-main here.
Yeah.
Natalia Silva, Jessica Andrade.
Oh, man, I like this a lot. I love this fight.
Great fight. Went down just the way I thought it would, which was Jessica Andrade on the front foot, Natalia Silva getting back to the cage a lot. But Natalia Silva showed a ton of resilience. She ate a lot of big shots and still kept finding ways to circle out and reset and make the fight happen all over again, make Andrade have to come forward again. It was never just getting caught, getting pushed back, and starting to get overwhelmed. It was always, whether the exchange went good for her or bad for her, just resetting and getting back.
Not letting Andrade cut the cage off. Andrade did a couple times and did land some flush shots, but it never really seemed to rock her. Like it prompted a smile here and there, but the biggest shots were landed by Silva.
Yeah.
Especially in that second round. She landed, I think it was just a cross, but it hit Andrade right in the eye, and she starts fucking wincing and shit, and then rolled up. Biggest strike of the match was by Silva, and that kind of shocked me.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. I think I picked Andrade here, by the way.
I picked Andrade. I was only half watching the fight while it was going on, and so I thought Andrade might have taken the first 2 rounds, but
what? What are you drinking on, Zane? This is a good time to bring that up.
Gin.
Okay.
But anyway, I still thought that, it was just one of those things where while I was doing other stuff and watching it and all that, it felt to me like Andrade was landing a lot of the biggest strikes. She was getting outworked, but the power was on. Everything I would see would be Silva getting backed up and getting her head snapped back by like 1 or 2 big shots while she landed 3 or 4 little pushed out strikes that I was like not as impressed.
Oh yeah, nah. You just happened to like come in at the wrong.
Highlight
for Andrade. That's the bad timing. But
Yeah.
no, Silva. So like the first round starts and Silva looks so uncomfortable and frantic and rushed and hurried that I was like, "Ooh, this is not going to end well for her." But by the second round, I actually gave Andrade the first. I know Silva landed more volume, but just the power Andrade was landing, just for me, was more meaningful in that opening round. But by
Yeah.
the second round, Andrade started to slow down a bit. The pressure wasn't as intense, and Silva was able to stand in the center a lot more. She wasn't as frantic. She calmed down. She stayed within herself, a lot more composed, and she looked fucking great out there.
Yeah.
She looked great against someone as dangerous and scary as Andrade. And I loved how she was able to eat all of those punches without issue,
Mhm.
not getting staggered, not rocked, not dropped, none of that. And she ate some flush shots from the arguably the hardest hitter in the division, the hardest puncher in the division.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was huge. This is, we get these fight night cards and it's like super irrelevant, even if they're fun. But like, this is meaningful. Like,
Mhm.
I'm interested in her. I think she's, you know, give her the winner of like Rose and Aaron Blanchfield. Like,
Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah. Oh,
I expect her to
absolutely.
fight for a belt here soon.
Or somebody else. I remember in my live thread that I was running, somebody mentioned, they want to see her against Manon Fiorot. That'd be a great, you know, title eliminator sort of level fight too. Eddie, I think you've frozen and we've lost you, but I'm just going to babble on. No, Natalia Silva, even if I very wrongly scored parts of the fight against her, I was really impressed by Natalia Silva, especially, honestly, more than anything else, I was impressed at how strong she finished. I think her best round of that fight was the third round. And for a fight where she's backing up the whole time, to be at your, to be at your best in round three, that's a great sign. She really is a very clearly special athlete when it comes to.
No. And it makes me like, I have no reason to think or suspect she can't do that for 5 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't seem to flag at all.
No.
And not flagging when you're on your bike the whole time, moving backwards, countering, especially after that jittery first round, that's a stout gas tank.
Yeah. So this was a good fight from her. I want to see her in a top contenders bout. You talked about
the winner of Rose and Blanchfield.
The winner of Rose and Blanchfield. And like I say,
what's Manon doing?
I'm just getting down here. Fiorot she's off a win and she's just hanging out waiting around. So my guess is that she's probably waiting for the winner of Grasso Shevchenko right now.
Which is fair.
But like if Namajunas beats Blanchfield decisively, Namajunas could jump Manon Fiorot. Even though Fiorot has a win over her, Namajunas has cachet with the UFC brass. They view her as a draw.
Yeah, but I don't think that would happen.
Might not.
No, because they got a Paris card coming.
True.
So they got to cash in on that.
Yeah. So
Manon's French, by the way. Fiorot is French, for those that couldn't tell.
No. The folks know. They know. So yeah, probably the winner of Blanchfield Namajunas is the way to go for Natalia Silva coming off that win. And for Andrade, I mean, she's just bouncing between strawweight and flyweight. Who knows? She'll find a fight.
Crazy. She's like the most. I so often I forget she was a champion.
Right.
Like I shouldn't. Why? I don't know why. I just
5 minutes. She was a champ for.
I feel like she can lose to anyone at any time. And but when I think she's done, she comes back with a crazy knockout, and I was like, oh, she's not done.
Maybe she could bounce back. She could drop down and do like a Yan Jianan fight, something like that.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, jumping now, Steve Garcia, your man of the moment, your favorite fighter. against Kyle Nelson. And, man, I thought Kyle Nelson could get this one.
You motherfucker.
I know.
How dare you?
I like Kyle Nelson. I don't care about... I mean, I like Steve Garcia, too. These are both fighters I've been rooting for a long time.
Yeah.
But Kyle turned a corner in his career at some point recently. Like, he found confidence. And when he found confidence, he stopped being a guy who would win early and then get finished late because he would lose his confidence. He would start to gas. He would start to panic. Everything would go to shit. And that was like, Kyle Nelson has been finished 3 times in his career, and they're all outside of the first round. Well, or 2 times, and they were both outside of the first. Yeah, no, 3 times they're all outside of the first round. Sorry, I got it right the first time. Anyway, and so I thought Steve Garcia is going to go in, be super violent. If Kyle Nelson can weather that storm, he's the more controlling fighter who's lately looked like a guy who can really bounce back and put it all together and stay on Garcia. But man,
So you're banking on Garcia to go late in a fight? That's wild.
Well, I mean, Garcia, I'm banking on like that Luis Pena fight for Garcia.
That was fucking 4.5 years ago, bro.
I know.
That's like just before COVID hit, dude. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying, like Steve Garcia, the wins from Steve Garcia after that point are like outstriking Chase Hooper, Shayalan Nerdembeke, Sungwoo Choi. Who are these fighters? They're not.
You're out of your mind, Zane.
Kyle Nelson is better than these guys.
Honestly, he's in the same boat as those guys.
Maybe now he is. But this was my thought process.
No, it was completely the opposite of what you thought. Nelson got the early back take. Looked like it was going to be a long night for Garcia. Might even get submitted. But man, the second Garcia reversed that position, hammers were coming, dude. He hurt. Kyle Nelson never recovered after that.
No, he did not. I mean, honestly, the moment Garcia turned through guard, Nelson should never have gone for that arm bar. That was a mistake. Just kick off and get up and reset. Because Steve Garcia just started wrecking him from that point. And sure, he may have hit him 3 or 4 times in the back of the head. That big knot back there didn't just come out from nowhere. But it was not the kind of thing that any ref is gonna call. Yeah.
And like, man, I don't know what's up with this guy. He doesn't look like he's a fighter. Like, seems like he shouldn't be winning. But man,
he spent a lot of time not really being all that impressive. You go back in Steve Garcia's career, and this is a dude who got beaten in Bellator by Joe Warren in 2017.
But to be fair, 2017 Warren still had it.
And 2016 Ricky Tercios? We're talking bantamweights here.
Oof. Yeah,
we're talking bantamweights for a 6-foot dude.
Hey, Joe Warren was a champion, okay, world champion.
I know.
Respect on his name.
Alon Cruz, though, those losses were not good. And then he gets those out there
But maybe they were good. Maybe that's what he needed. He needed to lose like that, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, the thing is though, you go back and watch the tape on those fights. He's always been a complete nutcase. Like, he has some not bad punching form, but what he really has is a complete willingness to push for the pocket at all times and attack you with violence.
Aggression. He fights.
Yeah.
People. He's not out there competing. He's out there fighting people.
Yeah.
Even his corner was urging him to stand up. Like, hey, get off the ground with this guy.
Yeah.
He was like, nah. I'm going to smash him on the ground. Nasty ground and pound. That elbow, he sat up and just to the side.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was wicked. That was so wicked. And like, I'm glad he finished on the ground here. Like,
oh yeah.
He's not someone who he showed some defense. Like, yeah, he got early takedown and gave up, got his back taken, but like he survived. He got out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with him though.
Well, somebody suggested in our chat here, and I don't disagree. Give him give him Kyle Nelson's original opponent, Calvin Kattar. If you thought that Calvin Kattar versus Kyle Nelson was a good fight to make, and Steve Garcia went out there and fucking killed him, then Kattar versus Garcia, why not?
It is a massive step up to go right to the rankings, which I'm all for.
Sure.
If you're going to give him a rankings fight, yeah, someone that's just going to come out and stand with him like Kattar.
I mean, at this point, he's on the. I wouldn't normally for the way Garcia's fighting, but he is on the longest knockout streak in the UFC, in the whole promotion.
5. And he's my favorite fighter.
And he has been in the game, he's, 32, but he has been in the game since 2013. This is not a fighter who has areas to improve, where they're going to grow and change in their game, and they're going to do some developing, and maybe Steve Garcia is going to become a championship fighter and get like a really technical grappling or wrestling game or something. No. He is this man in his prime, the best version of himself right now, and it is showing when he is putting on those performances. Give him the chance to prove it. You know what? Do the Kattar fight. Do a fight against.
The only other name that comes to mind is Yusuf Zalal.
Sure.
I think that's a very interesting matchup where the winner should be in the rankings. But I'm also down to fast track him against Kattar because Kattar's fun, Garcia's fun, Zalal might try to wrestle him. So let's get away from that.
Hey, you know what? Edson Barboza's still out there. Do that.
Lost though.
Yeah, but even still, he's got a ranking spot. He's like, that's something of interest. Let's see, who else is out here? We got Feely coming off a win. Andre Feely, the eternal, are you actually top 15 or not test.
Mm-hmm.
Borderline. We got Julian Arosa out there. And, that'd be it's a fun, violent fight, if nothing else. And
all these are great options.
Yeah.
Honestly, there is nobody that is more fun than Steve Garcia currently in the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, you got even like Nathaniel Wood, Ricardo Ramos, Sean Woodson. You put him in any of these fights, they're going to be fun. You can put him in any middle of the pack action fight, and we're all going to enjoy Steve Garcia being in that fight.
But I think Calvin Kattar's the way to go. I think you're right about that.
Yeah, like he's been around forever, and he's leading your promotion in knockouts. Give him a chance, and maybe he gets pushed back. Maybe that's a bridge too far, but let him find that out.
Or he fuck around and wins.
And
it's like, holy shit. Now
yeah.
He's fighting Brian Ortega or something.
Exactly. Like give him a chance to be a featherweight Derek Lewis. Well,
hold on now.
What? The UFC's knockout leader is a bad comparison for the guy on the longest knockout streak in the promotion.
Well, I'm still holding out title hopes for my favorite fighter, Zane.
Okay. Hey, Derek Lewis fought for a title.
Yeah. That was the worst fight. Nah. He didn't fight. He didn't do shit but get fucking steamrolled by fucking.
I know he's your favorite fighter, but you're really gonna look at somebody mentioned also fast track him against Diego Lopez. A is booked and B ranked lower than Calvin Kattar, so it's fast tracking him is the Kattar matchup more than anything. But I hate to say, you're really thinking like, I know he's your favorite fighter and all, but Steve Garcia, Ilia Topuria, and you're thinking, yeah, Steve Garcia.
If anyone has a shot against Ilia aside from Max Holloway, It's fucking Steve Garcia.
Okay, you are. I'm the one drinking the gin, Eddie.
What's Ilya's strength? What's his strong suit?
Fighting.
But specifically,
fighting.
His hands. Come on.
No, he's a great wrestler and grappler too.
His fucking hands are like his most. His punching power is like. Whew.
He's got great hand speed and great form, but he is also a very, very good wrestler and grappler.
No, I mean, I agree, but like, I think he's a better boxer
than any of those things. I don't think he thinks he's a better boxer than any of those.
I do. He knocked out Volk.
I know he did, but he would tell you.
You honestly think he would go out and just try to wrestle Max Holloway? You don't think he would just stand with him the whole time?
I don't know what he'd do, but I know that he wouldn't like go out. I know that Steve Garcia is not going to knock him out. If Steve Garcia starts tagging him, that he's not going to just absolutely go out there and take him down and choke him.
Wildest hand thrower in the division. If anyone is going to do it, it would be him.
Okay. I know this is this is your new place, so I'm not gonna poo-poo it. I'm not gonna rain on your parade.
Who has a better chance? Maybe Max Holloway. That's about it. Other than that, I mean, no one's got them hands like that.
Oh my God. Okay. Hey, who had a better chance to beat DC than Derek Lewis?
Ron Jones. The greatest fighter of all time.
Okay, Dana. Okay.
Hey, he's
all right,
it, man. I love it.
Let's get to a bantamweight bout now. Cody Durden, Matt Schnell, and I've got to eat a little crow here because
Schnell.
Well, of course, it's short notice, and Schnell's prepared for this fight. Durden flew in with his wife and nothing. He had no camp. He took this fight to get a new UFC contract. And
I can't trust Schnell for shit.
Well, I can't trust Schnell for shit either. But Durden. So the real thing that I have to eat crow on here is that I was pretty sure that Cody Durden was going to go out, shoot a takedown at some point, and get himself choked in that guillotine to triangle combo that Schnell does. And Durden went out and he just picked he just picked he just went toe to toe with Schnell, absolutely went to war with him, and made Schnell shoot the takedown. Schnell shot into the guillotine. He took the terrible shot from
way far away, from way too far out. And I can't even believe they called that an anaconda. Who in the fuck is making these decisions? That's a ninja choke. There was no arm in, not an anaconda. That's wild.
Yeah. No.
That's an error.
Yeah. Hey, at least they called it a ninja choke on the wiki.
Okay.
But, I mean, that's performance of a lifetime from Durden, honestly. Like, he has had several other UFC wins. None of them have been that exciting. And he absolutely had his entire career on the line there. Like, this is a man he's out of the UFC. They don't need him. He finished his contract on 2 straight losses. And
he showed up.
He flew in on 4 days' notice.
He was fighting like his contract, like his career depended on it.
Yeah.
Like he was in the pocket swinging. He's got the All-American tattoo. He's out there brawling.
Yeah.
That was fun. This fight delivered. It absolutely delivered. But yeah, Schnell shit the dead. What's that?
It's a great performance, and yeah, Schnell really did. This was a fight that
he was winning.
He was winning, and he had he should have had in hand. You took a guy. This guy just is fighting on 4 days' notice. No camp, no corner, no nothing. And you were winning, and you put yourself in the position to lose that fight.
Yeah, but he retired. So
apparently that's the other thing. We didn't know. He was absolutely, if it's a retirement fight, like it's one of those things that like I don't gamble because I don't like to lose money. And but even just picking fights going in, I want to know that. Tell me if you're about to retire, please, for the love of God.
Yeah, but a lot of times
I know.
Know until after the fact. It's like if I win, I'm gonna keep going, but if I lose, then that's it.
I know. A month from now, he won't be retired anyway. So what am I complaining about?
Yeah, right. Probably.
I mean, he's 34. He will be man.
I'm only 34, but like he's flyweight, bantamweight. That's ancient. That is.
No, I'm not saying it's not old, but this man will bulk up and he will be in bare knuckle fighting in like a year.
No, don't tell me that.
It's what the MMA fighters do. All right. So I need to remove. There we go. Get that comment up forever.
It's a good comment. I liked it.
Yeah. All right. That brings us to a lightweight bout. Yanal Ashmuz, Trevor Peek. And
God, I hated this fucking fight so much. All I want to watch is Trevor Peek go nuts. And to just sit there and watch him just get held. It's so much to my core.
See, I didn't hate it because I knew going in that Trevor Peek is not that guy anymore. He's not. They ruined him.
His style doesn't scale.
Well, they ruined him. His coaches have been picking on him for years to get better. He went out and he fought a completely dumbass fight against Chepe Mariscal,
who's a motherfucking dog.
Who is a dog. And he lost that fight. And suddenly all of the crazy ass bullshit that he's been doing for his whole career stared him right in the face. And he said, oh, okay, maybe I should get better. And then it turns out that he has a bad camp anyway, and they don't know what to do with him. And they're just trying to turn him into a technical fighter who outfights. And you can see it just doesn't work for him. He's jittery as hell. He's like pumping his jab out like this and just...
It's just like quadruple jab.
Yeah. And it's just like, man, this isn't you. And by the third round, and this has happened in each of his last two fights, he's finally just like, fuck it, I'm just going to throw down. And then he starts having fun and he starts winning. He won the third round of this fight.
Yeah.
Which is what he should be doing. But it's just, it's just not going to happen. This is not somebody who, like, at, nearly 30 years old after 10 years of fighting like he's outside a bar is suddenly going to learn technical fighting. It's just not going to happen.
However, if he wants to go run shop on the regional scene, I would love to see it.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, hey, I was just talking about Matt Schnell going to BKFC and how that's a terrible thing. Trevor Peek, get your ass over there. Go for it.
Sure.
Do it.
Yeah.
He
is a bare knuckle guy for sure.
Yeah.
You won't be able to do that awesome back fist anymore.
Exactly.
But his style is bare knuckle.
Yeah. Just bite a dude, grow your nails out, do some rough and tumble so you can eye gouge. Like, get some real old-fashioned Confederacy shit going. He's got it in him.
He needs to grow the mustache.
Yeah.
Like a big old, a southern mustache.
Come out to Dixieland.
I can say that. I'm from Virginia, all right? We were the capital of the Confederacy. So
yeah.
I'm allowed to say
Anyway, yeah, Ashmuz can fight he can fight MMA in an MMA way. Trevor Peake can't, and he's trying, and it's not what should be happening.
No, he needs to be a freak show, for sure.
Yeah. All right. That brings us to a lightweight bout. Chris Padilla, Rong Zhu, and you know what? Chris Padilla proving me wrong. I'm happy to see it.
Sure.
Dude is doing
especially like this.
Yeah. Doing way better than I thought he could off of his regional grindy blanket style that was no fun. Just like mediocre wrestler, mediocre back taker, can't strike, no fun at all. I hated it.
Turns out he can strike.
Turns out at least he found an elbow game. His boxing is still nothing that he should depend on ever, but dude had a nasty clinch game, and Rong Zhu was not ready for it.
Yeah. I love how he credited Super Lake with it, too.
Yeah.
Like, I love the props.
Yeah.
This is one of the nastiest elbows ever. It's probably like a top 50, top 25 elbow. Like,
that was great.
Landed perfectly on the eye, and then the dude's pointing like, "Hey, you me!" And dude,
it's like, no,
nah, fam, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it looked like Rong Zhu had a Brazilian butt lift on his eyeball.
The BBL. Yeah.
That thing was massive, bro. I'm glad they stopped it.
Oh no, they had to. I mean, if the line for stopping it due to cut is, can you see how many fingers I'm holding up? Nothing. They would have to put like a little tiny lift in the eye, like
they would
a little scaffold
jelly to get in that slit.
Yeah, they would have to put a little scaffold in there, lube it up to get that thing. And no, it's just not gonna. Yeah, they had to stop it. You can't see out of one side of your face. You're not Michael Bisping. Nobody's gonna give you that benefit of the doubt. So,
Yeah, maybe if it wasn't like.
Yeah.
Man, that was such an amazing, well-timed, well-placed elbow, fully committed to it.
Yeah.
Rong Zhu thought he poked him in the eye, but he was wrong, dude.
Please don't. Please don't.
Hey, we weren't here last week. I got to get him in.
That's true. All right. That brings us to a featherweight bout. The third of 3 why did you book this? What were you thinking? Fights on this card for the UFC, and not even just the UFC, because I mean, the UFC doesn't care. They see some names, they've got a big board, whatever. They're just throwing darts and being like, "Did you pick up the phone this week? Great, you're fighting. We got a dude for you." But Brendan Morat, you need to go talk to your manager and sit down with him and be like, "Bro, what are you doing for me? Like, why are you doing this to me?"
To be fair, it's a big opportunity.
It is not a big opportunity.
It is a massive opportunity.
No. Nobody knows. Nobody outside of the worst degenerates knows who Isaac Delarian is. That is not a massive opportunity. Brendan Morat gets this win. Next week, he's fighting like, I don't know. He's fighting Francis Marshall or some shit. Like, he doesn't get a bump off that. He just goes to fight some other dude.
Like a bump, but like if you can beat Delarian, like that's massive.
If you can beat Delarian, but his manager should be like, "I know you can't.
Well,
I know you don't have a prayer in that fight. I'm not putting you in there."
I don't know. I'm never gonna ever chastise anybody for aiming high and
no, I'm not gonna chastise. That's why I say he needs to have a talk with his manager, because he can aim as high as he wants. His manager, his coaches.
At the end of the day, he doesn't have to fight anybody he doesn't want to.
Well, yeah, but every fighter should want to fight every fight. That's how I feel.
Should think they can beat anybody on any given day.
Exactly, and that's why
I don't want to fight Delarian.
That's why I don't fault him. But
Sure.
Your coaches and your managers should be the real grounded people around you that are like, we're going to tell you, we're not going to even tell you this fight exists. we are going to give you like, oh, no. They didn't offer that fight. They offered this much easier fight.
But on the same token, this dude is in no position to be turning down anything.
Well, that's what you hope that, like, if he, I mean, the worst part of this is for Morat is that he was scheduled to fight who was
Muhammad Yaya.
Yeah, Muhammad Yaya, which is a super winnable, like exactly his level, low level fight. And he pulled out of that to end up fighting Delarian. And that's a goddamn shame right there.
Yeah, I mean, the dude's getting sparked out everywhere. Terrence McKinney took his fucking lunch.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Terrence McKinney thing, that was a horror show. But
he needs to stop fighting athletes. That's what he needs. He needs to get someone unathletic to fight. Or go back to the regional scene.
That, like, the Terrence McKinney thing was sensible because that was a short notice fight to get him in the door. It didn't make, I mean, if I were his manager, I'd still be like, you've beat nothing but cans, right? You're going to fight a dude who is one of the most athletic, not talented, but most athletic fighters in the UFC. That's a terrible idea, but you're doing it on short notice. You get a contract. And that's like, you're going to fight a dude who's like a legit top level collegiate wrestler. And you're just a guy who has only beat terrible cans. This is not a fight he had to take, and it's not a fight. He was the heaviest favorite. Delarian was the heaviest favorite in UFC history.
It was like minus 2,800 or something.
It was minus 3,000.
Yeah, it's
terrible booking from.
It went exactly as advertised.
Yeah.
The only surprise is that the finish didn't come in the first round.
Yep. Terrible booking from the UFC. Terrible management from Morat's team, and I feel bad for Morat.
But I love a good showcase fight.
No,
and this is that.
These things must exist. I understand them. It's just I always feel bad for them in the UFC because all the guys who get to the UFC always get there with this idea of like, I'm going to go compete and I'm going to be good. Nobody, it's not like regional MMA or boxing where you pull in the 11-30 guy who's like, I'm out here to give you rounds and we're going to, I'm just getting a paycheck.
That's who Morat was fighting on the fucking regional.
I know.
Like, total can crusher.
Yeah.
So, and I don't take pity on him. Like, you want to crush cans, you're going to have a rude awakening when you get to the big show. And you ain't going to stick around for long.
Yeah. He's not. Anyway.
I don't feel bad for him. I just don't.
I do. My heart bleeds. But great fight from Delarian, and good for him too, honestly, that it went as long as it did. Because A, he was never close to losing it, and B, he needs to actually learn how to fight more than a round.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He does.
No, he fights like a man possessed.
He does.
He's a sprinter.
Yep. So having to fight this dude for a round and a half, for 2 full rounds, pretty much. Hey, good. You need that. You need to do that. But yeah, he beat Morat's ass. And
good old fashioned passionate ass whooping.
Yeah. They could see what would be a good fight. Maybe, I mean, he's at the bottom of the division, so it doesn't really matter, but maybe like Jack Jenkins coming off a win, or I mean, if you are Isaac Delarian, don't take this fight. If you're listening, and I know you are, Isaac.
Chase Hooper?
No, well, Chase Hooper's up a division now. He got big as he got old. Yeah. Okay. But fight for him to absolutely not take, but I want to see Haider Emil.
Oh, shit. That dude's a beast.
Yeah. I want to see that.
2 Brahmas.
Yep.
Sure.
Don't take that fight, Isaac, but do. Please. I want to see it. Do it for me. All right. That brings us to a flyweight bout. Andrade Lima, Felipe dos Santos. And pretty quality scrap. Two decent flyweights. Andrade Lima loves grabbing that cage.
Oh shit! He keeps getting away with it though.
Credit. I think this was Dom's one shining moment on the commentary. Was it he that pointed out that the last time?
Yeah, last time he grabbed the cage, he got bit for it.
Yeah, and it is like that is part of why he got bit in his last fight. And he keeps doing it, and it's just clearly something he does all the time.
Last fight, he got bit in his last fight because his opponent couldn't control himself.
Yes,
that's why he got bit. I will not put any fault on Lima for getting bit. That's absurd.
I won't either, but secretly I will. You know, you're fouling all the time. Your opponent's he's gonna go a little wild.
You ain't trying.
Exactly. If you ain't biting.
Nah, Lima's, man.
I know. He's good.
Yeah, he is good. A lot of control here, but he's fucking.
Yeah.
Also, there was that weird moment where he called his own timeout because he wanted to like blow his nose or something and try to use.
Yeah, they let him.
Like, what the fuck is this?
Referees.
All the passes with the refs. He gets all the passes. This
is a point where. This is something I think that's generally become a problem in MMA. That we got to sooner or later it's got to come to some kind of head that MMA refereeing has to tighten up. It has to become just a little bit more structural with how it treats fouls.
That's tough.
Like
there's so much subjectivity there. Right?
There is.
Because the referee's job is to assess intention.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
It is. But I'm not saying it has to be like, it has to become really objective, because I don't think it ever could. And I don't think that would be good for it. But it does have to tighten. One of the things that I've seen, shout out to Sean Sheehan, vaunted judging and reffing research guy on MMA Twitter. One of his big points that they should do, and I agree with it, is that you grab the cage, your opponent gets to choose the position.
What do you mean by that?
Like, if your opponent's trying to take you down, and you grab the fence, the ref steps in, and they tell your opponent, okay, do you want him standing? Do you want it separated? Or do you want him on the ground? Do you want him to clinch?
Full guard, half guard, side control, like getting weird.
Just full guard.
And how long do they have to make this decision?
Oh, snap. Snap. No. Just you got to take a little bit more command, a little bit more.
Fast, man. You can't. That's why it's so hard to punish fighters in the middle of a fight, because you can't.
But you have to learn. Every other sport in the world has referees that punish stuff.
There's not a single. Any other sport you can call a timeout, and it doesn't alter.
But we're talking for referees. Referees in other sports have to make real-time calls all the time.
Sure,
all the time.
They're not as serious, in my opinion. Like, these people are fighting.
They call goals back and touchdowns back and all that shit all the time.
Ball game. It's a fucking ball game. No one's dying.
Nobody's dying in MMA either.
Sometimes. Yeah, because the referee needs to do his job. Like, that's such a big. I don't think there's anything harder than an MMA referee. That's the hardest refereeing you could ever do in any sport ever. They
got to make it just a little bit tighter.
But like, realistically,
well, if they're never going to try, they're never going to find out, because they'll do for now is just shilly-shally endlessly. Say, oh, I don't want to impact the fight. I don't want to change the fight.
No, they need to deduct the point. You got to start deducting the point. Your warning's in the back. You grab the cage, you lose a point. That's cheating. Especially if it stops a takedown. automatic point deduction, automatically.
And I think that the position, just give him the position, because you got to stop the fight and break it all up to deduct a point.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
You don't. No, you can do it without stopping the action. It happens all the time. Perfectly legal, perfectly fine. You can absolutely do that.
It does not happen. It's not the way they tend to do it, though. They almost always stop.
How often are points deducted? Not that often. But I have seen it in the UFC, so it definitely happens.
I'm saying I want to see him try the positional thing. I think it's worth it for the cage grabs.
Again, what position?
Cage grabbing it's not a foul that damages your opponent. Groin kicks, eye pokes. I am all for automatic point deductions for that.
But it can alter a sequence.
It can alter a sequence, which is why I say you give the guy the sequence.
I say you take the point.
Yeah, all right.
Because it gets too weird. Because you don't know how they would have fallen, how the takedown would have manifested.
Well, that's why you just make it an automatic thing. You just say, okay, well, you get on top in guard, you get against the cage.
No. That's weird. That has nothing to do with fighting.
Well, neither does taking a point. Points have nothing to do with fighting.
It does. It's scored. What are you talking about? You commit a foul, you lose a point.
Eddie, there are no points on the street.
You get caught committing a foul, you lose a point.
There are no points on the street. It's not,
It's a sport. You got to keep it a sport.
That's what I'm saying. You do other sports stuff, too. Other sports have all sorts of stuff that they do.
And that's why they suck.
Okay. Fair enough. That brings us, though, to a featherweight bout. Gabriel Santos, Yaya, the second of 3. Why did you book this? Why do you need this guy? Like, UFC already had a whole season of Road to UFC that they used to get Yaya into the UFC, and he fought and he lost and they cut his ass. We didn't need it. Nobody needs a guy from
the only one that did need this was Gabriel Santos.
Yeah.
He desperately needed that win.
He needed the win. It was good for him.
And he was great out there.
He looked great. He was fighting a dude that shouldn't be there.
Hey,
but he needed
to the level of their opposition. That ain't him.
Yeah. He needed it. Yaya, I just don't know.
That front kick to the face?
Yeah, that was brutal. That was beautiful. I mean, Gabriel, the other thing I would say too about this that I really loved about this fight,
the foot sweep, the Santos foot sweep kick.
Sure, that was sick. But was finding out that Gabriel Santos had jumped camps over to shoot a box. Because I think the big reason that he lost his David Onama fight is that he had leveled up with a camp that could not carry him. He was with a camp that had
Onama's for real too.
Yeah, but he was styling on Onama, but he was styling on him like Onama couldn't compete, and he was rushing in and treating him like I don't have to worry about you. And to me, that's bad coaching. And Onama made him pay for it. And shoot the box is still a camp that'll keep him plenty aggressive.
But that's also how he fought, or how Nate Landwehr fought him too. And Landwehr had a lot of success just being.
Yeah, but Nate Landwehr is a fucking mental case.
True.
You don't want to train all your fighters to be Nate Landwehr out there.
No, you're right.
They're not gonna.
Not everybody's built like. Not everyone can be like, whoop my ass and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
And Nate lost that fight. We should also.
Yeah.
Good fight though. One of the greatest fights you'll ever see.
But Santos was having no trouble with Onama, except that he kept rushing him
He won that fight, didn't he? He beat Onama.
Yeah, no, he did beat him. I didn't have it in front of me, so you were far afield from me, but no, this was Santos. I think getting to a bigger camp that is used to they've trained a champion, Charles Oliveira. They have a problem with shoot a box where everybody tries to be Charles Oliveira and idolizes him. But I think for Gabriel Santos, he spent so much time with Evolusatai that he's already got his own style and his own thing, and he's got a camp now. They produced a champion. They're used to bigger things. They can push his game that little bit further, and he looked great.
This is the second wave of Shooter Box, right? Like Shooter Box, that's who produced Anderson Silva and Hua, Ninja Hua, Vanderlei Silva, Padilla, like all these people.
We are in third even wave Shooter Box at this point.
Sure,
but I think that for Santos, he looked great. He looked more in control. He looked dangerous as hell.
Mm-hmm.
To credit to Yaya that he stayed in that fight while getting his ass whooped for every second of it.
They had some weird animosity at the end of the round.
Yeah, I think he was just because this is the thing about being a fighter like Yaya who is so used to winning on a bad regional scene. He's the one dude that wrestles on a scene with no wrestlers. That's why he's got like a record's like 25-5 or something.
Yeah,
and fights like he makes Darren Elkins look like Max Holloway when it comes to striking out there.
Hey, easy talking about the damage.
But
tread lightly, Zane.
Like, I think he's getting pissed off because he's not used to getting his ass beat like that.
Yeah, and he was getting fucked up.
Yeah, he was just mad because he's trying to pump himself up the whole time. He's just like, I just got nearly knocked out by a front kick that I had no idea about. I'm pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
Fine for him. Keep the animosity going. Kept him in the fight. Yeah. He was there till the end.
True. Tough
but
he's tough.
Yeah. But he was getting his ass beat the whole time. So
the whole time. And those checks that Santos was doing, phenomenal. I love that when they check a kick and then they point like, ha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great fight for Santos. And I just want to see him get back out there, Get some more cage time, get some more wins, get used to his new camp.
Yeah, man, he went to war with Ron Murphy.
Yeah.
Murphy's ranked now.
Yeah, Murphy's great.
I have no reason to believe that Santos won't rise and rematch him at some point, or rematch Onama, or
like I said, that Onama fight too, he was doing fantastic in that fight. He just was treating Onama like Onama couldn't hurt him. And he just walked right into him on an uppercut. And it's just like, you can't treat all your opponents like they can't fight at this level.
Right.
Anyway, that brings us to a women's strawweight bout. Jacqueline Amorim, Vanessa Demopoulos.
Back to the whole, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Okay. It is, man. 100%. Amorim is guilty of Yoel Romeroing the inside of
his
glove.
She hooked it, no 100%. Question.
But that's not where the armbar came.
Nope. And
Liz could have started defending, but instead she's having a conversation with the referee.
Yeah. It's also that level, because it was like 2-3 seconds we're talking here.
Right.
Real brief. Holding it. Hand slips a little, you're in the cuff, you're pulling on it, let it go, get the arm bar, you're doing the arm bar now. It is the predictable level amount of fouling in a grappling sequence like that you should expect as a fighter. This could happen to you every single time. You need to be prepared for that and not having a conversation with the ref about it.
Yeah.
If they call it, that's great. But this is like, it's like if your opponent is pawing at you with their hands out and you're going to the ref, hey, look at their fingers, look at their hands, their hand is up, and meanwhile they're popping you with the right hand. Like, this is that is a level of gamesmanship that you got to be prepared for in the game. And if you're not, then your mind isn't on the fight enough. And it clearly wasn't. Like,
I like that Demopoulos was vocal about it. I think she did the right thing by, hey, she's cheating, but at the same time, you can do both. You can defend and talk at the same time.
If it's me, I'm just saying don't talk. Don't bother. You're just focus on defending the goddamn arm bar. If the ref sees it, great. but just focus on defense.
I don't see why do both. You can do both. Fighters talk and fight at the same time all the time. Look at Kevin Holland.
Kevin Holland loses a lot of fights, though.
He also wins a lot of fights.
Sure, so does Demopoulos. But, stay focused. You ever see GSP trash talk anybody? No.
You never see Kevin Holland bitching about losing.
No.
You never see him pulling that card.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, she did cheat. But she didn't cheat the armbar.
No.
Armbar was good.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump through these last couple fights here. One more. Absolutely, your corner, your manager is doing you no favors booking. Andre Petroski, Dylan Budka.
No, this is a coming to Jesus moment for Budka here, right? Like your MO, your modus operandi is to come out and wrestle people, and like you get fucking pantsed on the ground. That's tough. You really got to take a hard look at yourself and your skill set and determine if that's enough for this level. Because
and I mean, it really obviously isn't, because anybody who's watched Budka before this will know that he's the guy with the corner that has to talk him through every second of every grappling exchange, all the way down to like, are you breathing right now? Did you remember to like get your hands, your elbows in? Mm-hmm. Are you defending? Is your heart pumping blood? Like, they give him so much minute, moment by moment, second by second instruction. Like, this was a walkover for Petroski from the moment it was go. Like, you can't need that level of instruction.
From the second it was booked.
Yeah.
Is this a short notice fight?
No, absolutely not.
Oh,
and
wow.
Also, it's one of those things too where for Bisping too, what the fuck, man? He's out there at the beginning of the fight. He's like, Budka's he's not easy to take down. Petroski's really, and it's every single time Petroski touches him, he falls over. Like, man, this is, as a booth, you got to be doing your work, because we all knew this was set up to be the easiest fight in the world. You got to be on top of that. Like,
I guess, if you're part of the machine, you gotta.
I know, but
you gotta do a little fluffing here.
I hate that kind of commentary of like, anybody could win. Oh, this could be anybody's day. You never know what this guy could. No, we know what this fight is. Come on, don't sell me that. Anyway, easy fight for Petroski, easy win. Probably should have had a submission win in there, but he's mad at himself about that, so I'm not going to be mad at him for it. And then also Nathan Fletcher, Zigimantas Ramaska, and another man who, to save his life, could not stop a takedown.
Yeah, this what's crazy is this ended exactly how I thought it would, with Fletcher grabbing a submission. But to be quite honest, I thought, during that first round, I thought I couldn't have been more wrong. I fucked up. I completely picked the wrong guy here. This dude was getting his ass kicked.
I picked Ramaska because I was just like, he is violent, he is bigger, and I just don't think Fletcher is a very good athlete. And I'm not going to pick him to grind a win. But he did.
Having you have an unnatural allegiance to losers on this card, Zane.
Hey, no, I picked Sean Brady and
is Cat Williams,
Schnell, Ashm. I picked a lot wrong too, but you're not wrong. No,
I picked a lot of wrong ones too.
Anyway, on that note, we're gonna wrap it up. We've been going on too long about this. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Subscribe. Links in the description. Find me on Twitter at Zane Simon. Find Eddie on Twitter at Eddie Mercado. And for those of you who are subscribers, we'll be back with a little bonus content dropping over on the Substack later tonight. So stay tuned for that. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Adios.
Adios.